everyone, welcome back to this series of pretty brooches. This is from Ivy in the Inky Butterfly by Johanna Basford, and we are on number 5 today. Let's come in a bit closer and get started. If you've missed any of the others, they're all available on my channel. You can just have a look after this video and have a go if you want, or just to watch, whatever suits you. Now, looking at this one, we have what I feel is a berry, but a gemstone berry in the middle. We have leaves and vines, and then we have these loops here. Now what I'd like to do is make the centre of each of these loops into a gemstone, as well as this one in the middle. I think that will look quite neat, and I'm going to put a gemstone in the centre of each bit of the leaves as well. That's just my thought on how I'm going to progress with it. I'm not sure whether this background bit is going to be left white or whether we're going to try and make it metallic. I shall think about that a little bit later. I'm just thinking through colours. Now we've got our leaves. We want something quite gemstone-y for the centres, and then something a little less for the, but it still might be metallic. Let's do the gemstone-y bit of the leaves. I am thinking that this pine green could work quite well. That way. There's one way that it looks better. Anyway, so making sure I don't do this berry by mistake. I'm going to do the leaves. Now these little bits are going to be just blocked in because they're so small. This one, the idea is to try and go a little darker around the edge. Be much easier with this larger one. To make it darker, you just layer it more. So you're going up and down a bit more, round and round a bit more, just getting more layers of colour down. And then as we go towards the middle, we use less. And then once we put a little bit of white on, which we'll do at the end, it will hopefully look a bit shiny. You know, it's a try. It might not come off, it might not look brilliant, but you know, hopefully it'll still look pretty, even if it doesn't quite look like the gemstone that I'm trying to do, but that's okay. So just gently, that's it. And then this one, bit around there. It's getting really hot. It's the hottest day we've had for a while. It's not even that warm. I think it's going to be 22, 23. I don't know how that compares to average for August, because although we have had days that are over 40 degrees, ridiculously hot temperatures, it's not the norm for us. I'm just looking at the rest of this and trying to quite work it out. See, should I do these leaves as gemstones? I'm very tempted to. I think I will. So again, around the edge. But no, it's not too warm, thankfully. And I went out nice and early, knowing that it's going to get hot. I'm hoping it's not going to be too warm tomorrow, because I'm out. I'm going to a funeral, which it's okay. The chap lived to 91, so I'm not going to be feeling terribly sad. I don't think he'd want anyone to feel sad anyway, to be honest. But hopefully I just get a chance to talk to my relatives and, you know, see them, give them a bit of support, and give them a hug. But I've got to, it's at 12:30, and afterwards I've asked my dad if he can drop me off at the train station. He's going on, now what do I do here? Because if I colour that in, then I feel like I've got to colour that in, but then I can't colour all of that in because it goes all the way around. And it's actually that bit, which is the outside. I'm going to leave it. we'll have a think. Yes, so I'm hoping that I can. I'm going to be dropped at the train station after, when it's going to be really warm. But you know, we'll see what happens. Can't be helped. I'm looking for a lighter colour that can still look a bit gem-like, and I'm thinking maybe this will work. Do you think it'll work, the juniper green? I'm going to test it on a bit of paper because I'm not entirely sure how alike all different the colours are. Here's my bit of paper. That's what we've just used. That's the pine. And this is the juniper. Oh, it's far too similar. No, that's no good. What's that? That's the chrome oxide green. It's still too similar. I'm going to have to go lighter. I'm going to have to go permanent green olive. I don't think I get much choice. Whoops. Let's put my book back the right way up. So I'm grabbing the permanent green olive. Yeah, my parents are going to the wake after, but I decided that I would just go to the service, and I'm just blocking this in and not go to the wake. My boys will be at home anyway, they'll be alright. They are 17 after all, but it's a sort of excuse for me to get back, which is nice. And I did see if they wanted to come. They don't want to come, so that's fair enough. But I don't really want to go back to a pub and be noisy, and I won't be able to eat any of the food, I shouldn't think. You know, all that. It'll be, nah, just not for me. I'm not going to do this inside bit. So I'm just hoping I can, you know, talk to people beforehand and after of the service, really. And then I don't know how long it will last, but I'll hop on the train. I think there's a train at 1. I'll never make that one. There's a service at 12:30, but I might be able to make the 2 o'clock train and get back. Now, this is all quite plain. I just don't know what to do with it. So I'm just going to keep going and see what happens. What's going to happen? It'll self-destruct. No, it won't. Something like my son would say something like that. Okay. I think we need to do this one the same. And this one. I said I was going to make a decision, and I have. Okay, I'm thinking maybe this part could be silver. The bit around the edge. Yeah, let's try that. I'm going to use the Cold Grey 5. It is Cold Grey 5. And I'm going to put it quite hard there on these edges, and then leave a white bit in the middle for shine, and do that all the way around, so it looks like we've got a sort of silvery edge. Some of these areas are quite small, you can't really fade it, you just have to leave a gap. I think that's fine. I'm going to do the outside bit as well. I'm just working out where to start. I think I'll start here. Make it a bit darker in there. shouldn't have done that. I think I'll leave it there. It's not always easy, is it, to know where to put the shine in? Just basically guessing and trying and hoping it's going to work, really. I think with these it's best to do a bit at the bottom and a bit at the top. I think if I leave the tip empty it might just look like I forgot to colour it, whereas if I leave the centre empty I think it looks more intentional. Maybe that's not true, but that's how it feels. There we go. So the same on all of them really, leaving a bit of a white gap. These are a little bit different. Now you don't have to fill these in, you could just leave it as a bit of ornate metalwork, but I have seen them done with stones inside them and I think it looked really pretty. So that's why I want to have a go at that, because last time I did this page I didn't do it like that, I left them empty. I just want to try something different for me. And by the way, I have completed a version of this book and I've got a completed book flipped through. In fact, I've actually got two on my channel. One I did more recently. I sort of revisited it. Now we have our stone. I'd quite like the idea of a red stone because I think red and green is a nice combination, but I'm not going to go for the pinky red that I did for the first one that we did, or this is quite pinky red over here as well. I'm going to use the Indian red, so it's much more of a browny red, which I think is rather attractive. So it looks a bit more autumnal. I'm going to ignore that teardrop shape that Johanna's drawn on there. I think she's trying to indicate that's where we put our white pen. I will have to, I think, or else it'll look odd, but I'm just going to, it's easier to get the colour even if you go over the top of it. And so in here I'm going to put in some gemstones. So again, I'm just fading towards the centre. What I'm doing is I'm pretending it goes all the way around there and this bit's just sitting on top. There we go. I just had a little thought. I was thinking that my husband's got a bit of time off work and actually about now I'll be taking a break with him, and we're not going away anywhere or anything, we're just having a few days off, and I thought maybe we ought to write, I don't like the term bucket list, but we ought to have a little think about things that we would like to do and while we can, because I know we're only, I'm 50, he's, what is he, 53, we're not that old, but I'm thinking that the older we get, the less capable we are going to be of doing things. We ought to have a little list of things that we want to achieve, maybe not in the rest of our life, but maybe just for the next year. Like, I'd like to paint the bathroom. God, how boring is that? But, you know, I'd like to have a little holiday away somewhere, something that we just don't do, you know, that sort of thing. Whether there's anything that, you know, he wants to do, that we could sort of, we were going to go to London this summer. It hasn't happened because I've been too busy to plan it and nobody else ever does anything about it. That annoys me a bit, I have to say. Just because I'm the one that is organised doesn't mean I should be left to do the organising. So that didn't happen. We were going to go to Buckingham Palace. They're probably all booked up by now. We were also going to go to the King's Garden in his house in Tetbury in Highgrove. This one's challenging. I'm just going to start it there, but unfortunately that was all booked up. I think they must book up years in advance. I'm just looking at these and going to try and make them a little bit neater and tidier. And I also feel they need to be a bit darker on the edge. I'm going to get a sepia. The dark sepia. Just go around the edges. Just to put some shadow in there, and I feel that it will just give them a bit more of a spherical look. So yeah, I'd like to do a few things, but the problem is that when he has a holiday he wants to be at home and I don't. So maybe I would just like to find out what he wants to do so that I know before I influence him and tell him what I want to do. It's got a real autumnal theme about it. I'm just trying to find my pen. Hasn't it? This is number 8. So for the very centre one, I'm going to follow that teardrop shape that Johanna has drawn on there. Not particularly good. There we go. And for these though, it's on the right hand side, so I'm going to put my shine on the right hand side of everything. Goodness, I got my right and left right then. Rubbish. Yeah. Then we want to think about these leaves that's supposed to be jewelled as well. Put a bit of shine on those. I'm putting this on the top because I don't really have the sort of right hand side on those over there. It's a bit different, isn't it? I'd rather like that, she says modestly. It's really different. I think if I was going to choose a brooch, that sort of dull colour, that would be more like what I would want, rather than one of these sort of bright pink or anything. So I think that's my sort of brooch. Tomorrow we've got quite an interesting looking one to do. I shall have a think about that. But for now, thank you all so much for watching. Thank you for all your support, for all your likes and comments, and for all those of you that have subscribed. Thank you so much. If you haven't, why not? Please do. It's really appreciated. And yeah, have a super day. Thank you so much and happy colouring.